we had a House hearing today on censorship that exposed a lot more of this kind of activity and just the rot that has become of so much of our government. You had Robert F. Kennedy testifying today. He tried to correct a lot of the falsehoods that are being desperately spread by the regime loyalists that are enraged by his very existence, especially those in his own party. Here was part of his message today on the dangers of censorship in this country, which I thought was great, exposing how disturbing today's Democrat Party is. And literally the moment he's done, you're going to see it here, Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida, familiar name from 2016, falsely labels him a racist and then tries to silence him. Take a look at this.
Censorship is antithetical to our party. It was appalling to my father, to my uncle, to FDR, Harry Truman, Thomas Jefferson, as the chairman referred to. It is the basis for democracy. It sets us apart from all of the previous forms of government.
Mr. Chairman, we respectfully requested that you rescind Mr. Kennedy's invitation to appear here.
Quite a moment there. And he talks about how censorship used to be appalling to the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party in this country used to be a good party back when you had the Kennedys in power.
Well, it was a different party than it is now. Now it's a
Certainly
Marxist party. It's a communist party, virtually. If you take a look, I mean, these people are radical left. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was involved in that whole thing with the server. What happened to the server? And you haven't heard about her for years. I haven't heard her name mentioned for 2 or 3 years. And now all of a sudden she comes back to attack Robert Kennedy Jr. You know, it's a big name in the party. The Kennedy name is a big name in the party, and they're the ones doing the attacking. And the Republicans are sitting back watching and saying, well, sort of agree with him. So it's very interesting, actually, isn't it?
It certainly is. You know, I doubt the Democrat machine is going to let Kennedy get anywhere near this nomination. I'm sure you agree on that. If he runs, though, as a third-party candidate, what do you think that does in this next election?
I don't know, but he's got great support in the party. Yeah. He's got, in the Democrat Party, he's got 20%. I saw a poll today, 23% of the vote. That's a lot of vote. And so I don't know. It's would he run as an independent? He'd get a lot of votes, I can tell you.
Yeah, it's, you know, a lot of people like you and him as a combination, too. I don't think that can happen, but have you ever thought about that? Trump Kennedy looks good on a bumper sticker.
It. I read the same things that you do. And there are a lot of people suggesting it. There's no question about that. No, I've known him over the years. He's a smart guy and well-intentioned. I really believe he's very well-intentioned.
I believe that, too. I want to ask just real quick about Joe Manchin as well, he's got this no labels thing going on that's driving his party crazy. What do you think about him as a potential third-party candidate?
Well, I think it'll be interesting. If he does it, it'll be interesting. But, you know, you're going to take people that couldn't get their own nomination. Now you're going to put them in. I'm hearing so much about no labels. No labels has been around for a long time. They haven't done much, I can tell you. But you take a look at the people they're talking about, you know, so you take people that couldn't get nominations in their own party and that in many cases have tried all of these names that I see. And now they're going to put them in a third party. Everyone's saying how wonderful they are. So they're cleaning up their act a little bit, but they're all talking about how wonderful they are. You know, they're getting a little good press. And let's see what happens. Yeah. It may be Cornel West. A lot of people like Cornel West. I hear he's doing very well in the polls, Cornel West. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
Well, do you think that Biden really ends up doing it? I mean, we're only a little over a year away now, as crazy as that is.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think, Gavin Newsom's making a lot of noise. Yeah.
Right. I watched him yesterday fall asleep in front of the #1 real representative of Israel, right? And that was very insulting to Israel, I can tell you. But I don't know if he fell asleep or just couldn't read his notes. I didn't know what happened, but he certainly dazed off. And this gentleman is sitting there watching him and saying, what's going on? This is very strange. He didn't know what to do. So I don't know. Is he going to make it? I don't know. I can tell you that it looks to me, I would think he would probably make it, but it would be a 50-50 deal.
I don't think he wants to give it up, but I think it's fascinating to watch how you have the entirety, I think, of the establishment press trying to convince you that this man is fine. And you'd have to be insane to think that this man is fine.
Well, even doing an interview like you and I are doing right now, where you're asking various questions, and I'm saying, you know, I didn't get on and say, you cannot talk about this, you cannot talk about that. You can ask me whatever you want. But even doing an interview like this, he couldn't do it. He couldn't answer the first question. No. So I don't know. It's like, you know, is he going to run? Physically, he's not exactly looking strong, and I wouldn't say he looks like a picture of health. And from the mental standpoint, I don't think he's looking too strong. You know, the problem we have, and it's a problem that we cannot smile about, laugh about. We can't even think about it in any way other than a very serious way. We're dealing with other world leaders that are at the absolute top of their game, smart, cunning, vicious, not looking to help the United States, in some cases really wanting bad things to happen in the United States.
Right.
And we're not being properly represented.
No.
And that's very dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's embarrassing. I want to ask about debates here for a second. It's strange. The RNC is apparently giving the first two debates both to Fox News. You're going to have one at Fox News, one at Fox Business. Fox has made it very clear, especially their ownership made it very clear, that they oppose you for the GOP nomination. I wondered if you'd spoken to Ronna McDaniel about this. We can point out that Newsmax has a much bigger audience than Fox Business does.
Well, Fox has opposed me. In 2016, they were very, very negative on me.
Yeah.
They haven't made it clear that they oppose, but I feel that, I see Ron DeSanctimonious on all the time. Today they interviewed him and his wife sitting down. So lovely. It was all softballs. And I would say that, MAGA people aren't exactly thrilled with Fox right now.
Yeah.
But they were against me in 2016, and then the night I won, everybody loved me over at Fox. And this is not nearly as bad,
yeah.
But they would like to have somebody that's more of a globalist. I'm America first. I want to make America great again. They like these people that want to make China great.
Are you?
And
yeah.
I'm not into that world.
Are you still pushing back, hesitant on the idea of debating? I think I personally, I know that you're not going to get a fair shake in a debate. It's, the first one you had last time was you against Wallace and Biden at the same time. We all remember that. But I think a lot of us would love to see you up there fighting them.
Well, Chris Wallace is an example. When I said, how come the mayor of Moscow's wife gave the Bidens $3.5 million cash? And he said, I shouldn't ask that question. I said, why wouldn't you have it? And now it's a big topic. The mayor of Moscow's wife handed Biden $3.5 million. And I say, why wouldn't you let that? And he defended. I mean, I was really debating two people, or 1.5 people, I guess you'd say.
Right.
And Chris Wallace hasn't done too well since then. No, the debates are interesting. You have people at zero, like Ada Hutchinson and some of these people, they're at zero. Why should they be allowed? If I'm winning by 50, 60 points, which is what I'm winning by, because DeSantis has gone way down, as you say, DeSanctimonious. He's gone way, way, way down. And I think they had a poll today where he's at 12, and he's tied with Vivek Ramaswamy.
Don't you want to jump in there, though? I mean, you're so good at it. It's so fun to watch.
I'd like to do it, but
it's great TV.
I'd like to do it, but it's a little bit of a setup. You have guys that are at 1, 2, 3, and let's say I'm 60 or 70 points higher than them, and it doesn't sort of seem. And I would say, there's a little bit of hostility over at the network. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
Why isn't Newsmax getting a debate? It's an interesting question. Newsmax should get a debate. But I do say, why would I want a debate as opposed to doing something else that night? Why would I want a debate when you have people at 0 and 1% asking me hostile questions? Because I'm going to go to 71% instead of 70%. But, I think it's a very hostile environment. And by the way, most people wouldn't do it. Ronald Reagan didn't do it. Nixon didn't do it. Many people didn't do it when they're in this position. If you're leading by a lot, what's the purpose of doing it?
Yeah, it's a risk. I understand.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah. I haven't really made up a final decision.
You haven't made up your mind. I get that. I can understand that. Final question here was just about what happened at Bedminster last night. You had the big screening of Sound of Freedom at your club in New Jersey. Really, really great. Just tell us how that night was.
It was incredible. It was a really great movie. Very, very, frankly, depressing in many ways, but an amazing movie to see. And you have to see it. It'll tell you about borders. It'll tell you about the abuse of children is just incredible. And it had to do with a very important topic that we discuss all over children, women also. I mean, you take a look at what's happening at the border. You take a look at what's happening in some of these countries where children are literally being sold. and in big numbers, massive numbers of young people all over the world. They come from all over the world. They're being stolen. They're being kidnapped. It's a horrible thing. It's a great movie with tremendous people. Your lead actor, Jim, is what a job he's done. And the whole thing is it was an amazing evening. But it's a hard movie. When that movie's over, you're very, very sad because of this is going on right now at levels that nobody's really ever seen before.
And nobody's made it easier to do in this country than the Biden administration with the policies that they have. I mean, human trafficking.
They have made it so easy to do.
They've made it so easy to do.
And and they couple that with the internet. You know, one of the reasons it's so big now, the internet, but the Biden administration's done absolutely nothing to protect these children.
Yeah, you're right about that. Sir, I want to thank you so much for joining me again tonight. It's always good to talk to you.
Thank you, Rob. Great honor. Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you, sir.